Tyreek Hill. Watched the game last night, Monday Night Football. Two beautiful games on last night. December football is shaping up to becoming one of the best Decembers we've had, especially since I've been around and watching the NFL.
Right.
Tyreek Hill goes down, and the Miami Dolphins look lost. The Miami Dolphins look like a totally different team. So Tyreek Hill, the most important player in the NFL, is that the question for me this morning?
So, for everybody asking, Ashley, is your hair moving? It is. I have a fan on me. I'm hot. So I have a Beyonce fan. So if you see my hair going back and forth, it's not a special
You are
effect.
so
That's
bougie.
happening in real time. I'm hot. And
Going through menopause?
at 30, I would hope not. And yes, I did take the red out of my hair. I'm back to my dark color. Thanks everybody for noticing.
Do they really be paying attention to you like that?
It was a fun ride, but I'm happy to have my natural color back with a little bit of spaz in it. But yeah, so my headline from around the news today is the Lakers. Should they hang a banner for the in-season tournaments?
Can't wait to
I have my
discuss.
thoughts. Some may say I'm an NBA elitist, but that's okay. I'll be that. We'll dive into that in a little bit. First and foremost, Tyreek and the Miami Dolphins. So Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins did not get the outcome that they were looking for last night on Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans. They blew a 14-point lead, and it came down to the wire in the fourth quarter that the Titans were able to go ahead and steal this one away from the Fins at home. Now, Tyreek Hill did injure his ankle. The ankle, there is concern about it. Now, he did say post-game that he had texted his wife and said that his ankle was hurting. And his wife said, get your ass back in that game. And that's what he did. But there are still concerns that maybe that ankle is a little bit injured. But outside of just Tyreek Hill, who it's fair to say that he did not look as explosive as we're accustomed to seeing him after the injury to his ankle. He definitely was just not as fast, not as explosive. He obviously was playing through a lot of pain. But Tua and the offense overall just could not get anything going after Hill went down. It was like they sucked the life out of that offense when Tyreek Hill went down, which I think proves furthermore if you were already questioning what he means to the offense. Is he an MVP? You took him out of the equation, and now you're looking at a drastically different Miami Dolphins team. So let's ask multiple questions here. Before we get into the Tyreek Hill conversation, well, I mean, what did you make of the offense with him out dealing with his injury back in that locker room? Is that concerning that so much of their success relies on one player?
It took me back to when I was playing as a number one wide receiver. You know, he's not in the space that I was in when I was putting a lot of pressure on the organization. Well, not the organization, but the offensive coordinator and also the quarterback. When you're a number one wide receiver and you ask for the ball, it disrupts a lot of things. And the offense, when you go against a really good defense, or if they have your number, it's hard to run efficiently.
Would you say that's what the Titans were, though?
Yeah, they were. I mean, before he went down, they it seemed like they had a decent game plan for them. And what I'm saying is, like, last year they did a phenomenal job with Waddle and Tyreek spreading out the wealth. This year, you see the frustration from Waddle, right? And so over the last couple of weeks, they've been trying to get him involved. His targets have gone up. But when Tyreek went down last night, it didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like they were in rhythm. Why?
Right.
Because they've been force-feeding Tyreek all year. But I can't even say force-feeding because it's been working.
Right.
Right?
If it ain't broke,
don't fix it. So the challenge for the Dolphins, and they can get this right? Because they have explosion all over the field. They even got guys that they're not even getting involved. Like, where's Chase Claypool? Where's Robbie Anderson? Well, the Chosen Anderson, right?
Didn't they release Chosen?
But they brought him back. They brought him back, like a week later because a guy going. So they have playmakers, but it's hard to get in rhythm in the middle of a game when a guy goes down when you haven't really been spreading out the wealth. So am I concerned about the Miami Dolphins? I am not. Am I concerned about Tyreek Hill? I am not. Now, when we get to postseason, there's going to be some issues. And I've been saying that. I said that yesterday. You weren't here. I said it all last week when you were here and the week before that. I don't believe in Tua. I don't. And it's not because what will he do when Tyreek Hill goes down. It's not that. It's that he just makes decisions at times that can cost the Miami Dolphins in crucial moments, right? So last night was a devastating loss for the Miami Dolphins. Now you're sitting at 9-4. It would have been lovely for you to keep this momentum, go into the postseason, potentially with home field advantage. Now, everything at this moment is going to run through Baltimore, but there's still a lot of football left to play.
Well, let's talk about it. We have a month left of the season, 4 games to be exact. And the Miami Dolphins, we don't know the status of Tua just yet, so we're not going to of Tyreek Hill, so we're not going to assume. But let's just go ahead and say that this ankle injury is not something that's a quick turnaround. Maybe this is something that, the Dolphins are going to be extra cautious with because, they are looking into the postseason.
Yep.
They are going to be there. And would you rather have your guy available for the real deal Holyfield, or would you want him, to go ahead and play some games that you should be able to win without him? Whatever decision that they make is the decision that they make. But looking ahead of their schedule, you have the Jets coming to Miami on the 17th.
Yep.
So this Sunday. They face my Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve.
You'll be in the building.
I will hopefully be in the building.
Bring the good luck charm.
Christmas, New Year's Eve, they are at Baltimore against the Ravens. And then on the 7th of January, they face the Buffalo Bills. Now, depending on where the Bills are in the standings will determine whether or not they get the full throttle Bills or get, the second unit Bills. But those are still a few games that could go ahead and,
determine a lot
and maybe change the course of the Miami Dolphins' future, especially if that guy on the lower third right there is not in the mix for any of them. So still, any concerns?
Well, you said a lot there. There's no decision that needs to be made. Tyreek Hill's going to play.
Right.
This is the name of the game. Like, everybody's banged up right now. Everybody's dealing with something. I realized this early in my career that the best still give you their best when they're dealing with something. So for him to be able to come back out and play and finish that game says that he should be out there, this week in practice. It might be a Thursday, might be a Friday, probably be a little lighter for him, which is always a blessing, right? Because you can rest and recover from other things.
Right.
It's that part of the year. But he will be out there come Sunday against the Jets. Like, you have to. This is it. This is cream season. You don't got time to rest. Like, there's a lot at stake here. Like, it's not sweet. You got the Jets, who just coming off a huge win. You see Zach Wilson? Ashley, did you see Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson heard the slander.
Yeah. We'll talk about that some other time. But Zach Wilson and the Jets, and it's a division rival. Like, you got to come with it. The Cowboys, the Ravens, the Bills.
I mean,
will we be surprised? Will we be surprised if they go 0-4 down the stretch, or 1-3?
All I know is if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, this is exactly what you need. You got the win against the Kansas City Chiefs,
right?
And Josh Allen, saved himself from a week worth of criticism, and with the Miami Dolphins kind of seeing a little bit of a struggle in this last stretch of the season, it opens the division up for the Bills to maybe go ahead and sweep in and make their dreams reality, and that is to get into the playoffs, maybe even to run the table and make some noise.
That's right. And the last thing on the Miami Dolphins, I just had to do this calculation. 2,000 is still at stake for Tyreek Hill. 4 games left. He needs to average 114 yards a game for him to go over 2,000 and be the first wide receiver to ever do that in the National Football League. So he will be out there. But yes, Ashley, the Buffalo Bills, what team are we going to get? What Josh Allen are we going to get?
Hypothetical for the Tyreek Hill MVP conversation. Let's say the Miami Dolphins lose out, but Tyreek balls out. Still MVP?
If Tyreek Hill eclipsed 2,000 yards,
but the Dolphins lose out,
and he lose out, I'm taking out a billboard in Times Square campaigning for Tyreek Hill to win MVP. I might sit out there for 24 hours straight, no sleep. No, seriously.
You might not want to say
I thought
that.
about that this morning.
Someone's going to hold you accountable for that.
After meditating this morning, like all kinds of weird things can come up when you meditate. You got to let it go and then you come back to it. But like, I love being in that dark, hot yoga room and sitting there going through my flow and then meditating. All types of shit comes up. Mm-hmm. This morning, what came up was like, Bianca. Hey, Bianca. Can you say?
No, don't put her on camera with her stuff on.
Yeah, come say hello.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Bianca, she was excited last night, texting the whole team at midnight. Hey guys, the Giants won. Yeah. Nobody cares. Come in here. Look. This is Bianca. She's been on the team for a long time. So Bianca, you do anything you want to tell the people? Say go Giants. All right, go Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, we good now? All right, we're good. Okay. So after meditating this morning, what came up for me was, if Tyreek Hill eclipsed 2,000 yards, and I don't care what the scenario is, Ashley threw out there, they lose the last 4 games, but he eclipsed. If they win 4 and he eclipsed, we're taking out a billboard campaigning for him. Okay? So call.
No, you forgot the ladder. You said you would stay up for 24 hours sitting in front of it.
Yes, I will. I'll sit out there. In the cold, just give me a blanket.
In the cold, 65 degrees.
Give me a blanket, hoodie. Give me all my snowboarding gear.
Wishes. Drop that a couple degrees.
Yeah, I'm out there campaigning.
Okay.
So,
I'm here for it.
what, January 8th, 9th, 10th? Mm-hmm. Let's book it.
All right.
Let's book it.
I got you.
Okay, billboard. I'll give you our guy's name that gives us the billboards and everything.
I'm here for it.
All right, let's do
All
it.
right.
All right. It's really inexpensive, too, to get a billboard in Times Square. Like, it depends on how long you want it. You know, like if some people didn't even know that. Like, you can take out a billboard in Times Square. It could cost you $5,000, but it may only be for 15 minutes. But if you want a whole 24 hours, it's like maybe 30,000.
What were you going for? 5 minutes? You going for?
I don't know. I got to check the budget. You know, it's day to day. It's day to day. So
Okay.
I got to check the budget, see where we're at around January 8th.
So then again, you're saying unequivocally that Tyreek Hill's MVP standing, contention, ability to win the whole shebang has no bearing on what the Miami Dolphins do from this point forward in terms of wins and losses.
No, I mean, I think last night showed that Tyreek is, I mean, you got Dak Prescott. There's a lot of amazing guys out there. If you take them off their team, the team will implode. But last night highlighted that in real time. Tyreek Hill goes down. They lose to the Tennessee Titans. I like the Tennessee Titans. I picked them to be the dark horse before the year, and they are sitting here freaking at 4 wins, 5 wins, whatever.
Now it's like 5 and 8, I think.
Yeah, like I didn't expect that. I expect them to be, you know, the Denver Broncos. But it's the Tennessee Titans. They're not having a great year. Tyreek Hill goes down. Look, they lose the game. 4-point lead, 14-point lead.
Yeah.
And they lose the game. So it shows that. The reason why this is important to me is because, and sometimes we with all the animation and all the, the hand gestures can kind of get lost, but we've never seen any wide receiver do this before. We've seen a quarterback do what have the type of season that Dak Prescott's having this year.
Right.
Statistically, wins, losses, we've seen it before. We've seen quarterbacks do what Brock Purdy's doing, Lamar Jackson. We've seen it before. Have we ever seen someone go over 2,000 yards? No. And we're talking about some of the best, some of the best athletes in the world, all sports. Some of the best players in the National Football League play the wide receiver position. Jerry Rice never did it. Odell Beckham Jr. never did it. Randy Moss never did it. Chris Carter never did it. Steve Smith never did it. Larry Fitzgerald never did it. Justin Jefferson hasn't done it yet. If he goes over 2,000 yards, like, what are we talking about? Like, this is...
I agree.
Like, seriously. So that's why I'm willing to campaign. And you're going to be there with me.
I'll drive past you in the Uber. I'm not going to sit out there with you.
No, Ashley, you don't have an Uber. Stop capping. When Ashley goes to New York, she gets a driver. Because one time you went to New York and he's like, hey, what's Mr. James'
I only
number?
use them, but I only use it for the most part. I use like Ubers and taxis. Like I'm a true
no.
New Yorker like that. Like
if you're a true New Yorker, you'd be on the subway.
I'm not crazy. I used to ride the subway, but like it's a little it's like it's the underworld down there now. It's a little bit too
All right,
much.
keep it real with the people, Ashley. When you're in New York, you get a driver, not an Uber. It's a big difference.
No, I've only gotten a driver once when I was in New York.
Fancy.
And that's because I had a bunch of meetings and it was going to take forever to get Ubers. But I'm a cab girl, an Uber girl. I'll walk like
drivers.
No, you're the one
fans,
with the driver.
Fan,
it's
her
hot.
hair is
I'm
blowing in the
hot.
wind
I'm
right
sorry.
now. Like, who are you?
Oh my God.